Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Mark, your 60-year-old retired Marine here. My wife and I are the founders of L2-4UP Physical Training. L2 stands for 2 leg exercises, one at the beginning and one at the end of the workout. And then in the middle, the 4UP, are 4 upper body exercises comprised of chest, back, shoulders, and arms. The way that the workout progresses is with those 2 bookend leg exercises on either side. In the middle, we do chest, back, shoulders, and arms. If you're beginning or intermediate, we do the exercise set for 15 to 30 seconds. If you're advanced, we do it from 30 seconds to a minute. So that's one set per body part, and you complete that set over the timed interval. Obviously, my wife and I are a little bit on the advanced side, so we generally do each set from 45 to 60 seconds. We use a beeper on our watch to keep track, and we can get through an entire sequence from 1 leg exercises to the 4 upper body ones to the last leg exercise, and we can usually complete that in 25 to 30 minutes. It's something we do together. It only takes a half an hour of our time during the day. We get up every morning at roughly 5:30. We're in our little garage gym here, and we knock out our whole workout. The way you increase the intensity of the workout is either from moving to the 15 to 30 seconds up to the 45 to 60 seconds. In all exercises, we pick a weight that we expect we're gonna fail around 30 repetitions. So it's a high rep type of training program. And then as we get stronger, we just choose a little bit heavier weight and still try to choose a weight that'll allow us to fail within that 30-second range, 30 to 45. Okay, so today we're gonna focus on chest. If you saw the last one, we focused on the legs. We went through a couple different versions of squat. Remember that this channel is focused on people over 40. As I mentioned, I'm 60, my wife is 58, and we're basically starting our golden years, but we're starting our golden years in shape and eating well, working out every single day. In addition to weightlifting, we do other cardiovascular type exercises such as hiking, biking, you name it, walking. We walk sometimes 5-10 miles when we are inclined to do that on the weekends. So today we were going to do upper body. We did a leg exercise the last episode. So what we're going to do here for upper body is we're going to focus on chest. And we're going to start with the basic push-up, and then we're going to kind of go from there. So I'm going to back up here for a second to my mat. And the standard push-up everybody's familiar with. These mats are pretty good to gauge the width of your arms. So a standard push-up, you can either lock out or go just below lockout. You get a little bit more stress on the chest and on the tricep. So that's a good basic chest exercise. If you're unable to do full push-ups, here's a couple of alternatives. What you can do is knee push-ups. So in this case, I'm gonna keep my knees on the floor, and I'm just gonna come down and go up a little bit. Keep my body flat. I'm just going to come down and do knee push-ups. So again, the focus of the exercise is to try to keep your arms about shoulder width apart, just outside your shoulder width, and you're going to do a full extension and come back down. If you need to rest, go ahead and lock it out for a second and then come back down. But if you can, go slightly below lockout to keep the tension on the chest and on those tricep muscles, and do the exercise as best you can. Another thing you can do, if even the regular or the modified knee push-ups are too difficult for you, you can pick something like the counter in your house, even the car, like my truck's right in front of me. I could lean on my truck and do a version of the push-up. I'm going to show you real quick here on my bench where you can do kind of a 45-degree modified push-up that still will work your chest and it will still work those arms and triceps. So if you could imagine for a moment, we're leaning on the kitchen countertop, and I'm going to try to do roughly a 45-degree movement. So as you see here, I'm going to try to keep my torso flat, and I'm just going to come in and push out. Come in and push out. Now remember, you're going to time this, so let me just do an example of a timed one. I've got 15 seconds on my watch just for demonstration, so here we go. I'm going to try to do as many as I can in that 15 seconds. And I'm complete. So simply using body weight, you can get a decent upper body exercise for the chest, the forward biceps, the front biceps, shoulder muscles, as well as your triceps. So doing chest exercise in the best way that you can, whether it's a push-up, a modified push-up, or even just pressing off of a stable platform, such as your counter in the kitchen. Obviously I'm using my thing here. You can even press up against the wall, step back far enough that you can lean forward and put some stress on those front deltoid muscles and your triceps as well as your chest. As best you can, you want to try to get a full range of motion with the chest and allow the chest to expand. Another thing that people don't do a very good job with, in my opinion, is breathing. So whenever you're doing an exercise and you're expanding your chest, such as when you're about to do a push-up or a dumbbell press, you want to inhale in and exhale out. Inhale in and exhale out. If the weight is somewhat heavy, then you actually protect your rib cage and your spine by slightly holding your breath while you're in the period of most exertion. So that sort of motion there. So while I'm under the most stress, trying to get that weight up off my chest, that's where I'm going to hold my rib cage tight by holding that breath for a little bit, and then once I'm at the completion of the movement, I'll exercise. But inhale when your diaphragm is open, when your chest is open and you can take in the most oxygen. Keep it tight as you're going through the heaviest part of the movement, and then lock it out when you're done. So what I'm going to do just for demo is I'm going to go ahead and set my watch here to 45 seconds. And my only point of doing this is to kind of show you the level of exertion once you get to that advanced phase that we're looking for here. So 45 seconds, I actually make it to 48 to give myself time to pick the weights up off the ground and get them into the position. Again, let me show you something with the smaller dumbbells. If you can imagine yourself laying on your back on the bench and you're ready to do this exercise, you want to have your chest nice and wide. You don't want the weights in too tight. You kind of want them just outside your shoulders. And we're going to push and rotate. Expand that chest, push and rotate. By doing so, what you're going to do is you're going to tax not only the chest muscle, but also your triceps and those front deltoids. I'm going to do a 45-second set here. I've got 65 pounds on the ground right there, 65 in each hand. So this will be somewhat strenuous, even for myself, who's in fairly decent shape. But I just want to give you a sense of what you should be looking to advance toward as you're improving your fitness and you start to get past that intermediate level and get yourself more toward the advanced level. So this isn't a ton of weight. I'm not going to win any powerlifting competitions with this, but I will exert myself more for your benefit to show you roughly how the sets are work, you know, how I complete them when I'm doing them in the morning with my wife. So here goes. So 48 seconds, give me 3 seconds to get myself all set up and ready for the first rep. So here we go. So hopefully that set showed the level of exertion that you're trying to get to when you advance toward the advanced stage. You can see I'm completely out of breath. I was trying to do each rep as fast as I could, however, not sacrificing form. Again, I was coming nice and wide because I want to expand my chest. And one thing with the chest muscle, your chest muscle really does this movement more so than it pushes. Right here, if you see, just pushing with my hand, I'm using a lot of tricep back here, some front deltoid, not as much chest, unless you really expand your torso and press it out like this and come toward the center. Now I'm really engaging that chest. It doesn't bother me at all that I'm getting a decent amount of tricep work while I'm doing that. And remember, the goal of L2-4UP, it is for the middle-aged crowd, people over 40, over 45, up to my age, as I mentioned. I'm 60 this year. I keep myself in pretty good shape. If you didn't see my very first episode, you'll see that in that episode I revealed that I was injured in a really bad cycling accident over in Romania while I was working as a government contractor, where I was injured very badly in my neck, my left shoulder, my right eye, and my right knee. Just within the last month, the doctors have cleared me to begin exercising again. So what you see now is the result of me being 230 pounds a little more than 2 weeks ago, about 15 days, 16 days ago. I weigh 231 pounds. Standing here today, I weigh 212 pounds. I got down to 210, but in this past weekend I put on a couple of pounds. So basically, I've lost 20 pounds in about 15 days, half a month. I did so entirely with the L2-4UP. So that bench press exercise you just saw me do, imagine 2 more leg exercises on either end of that, and then after doing chest like I just did, I do back exercise to the same level of intensity, then arms, then shoulders. It's a very challenging workout program. It's less about strength than it is muscular endurance. It's a muscular endurance type thing. If you look in my shorts, I don't know exactly how you get to those, but if you look at my shorts, you'll see that I used to be a competitive powerlifter. From age 18, when I was a student at the United States Naval Academy, all the way through my Marine Corps career and into my adult life. In 2005, I was the North American champion for the Amateur Athletic Union in the push-pull competition, push, bench press, pull, deadlift. I did 285 on the bench press. I just missed, 385 on the bench press. I just missed 407 pounds because I had an uneven lockout when I was finishing my bench press, so I only got credit for my intermediate lift, which was the 385. However, I did pull 617 on the deadlift, sumo style, only way to go if you're going for strength. And between the 2 lifts, the 385 and the 617, I had 1,000 pounds in 2 lifts. I'm not that strong anymore. I can still deadlift probably 400, 405 in that range. However, at this point in my life, I don't care about strength anymore. I'm over 60. The golden years are in front of me. I'm generally in better shape than the average person, maybe 20 years younger than I am, 15 years younger than I am, and I plan on keeping it that way. One of these days I'm going to have my wife on screen and you'll see that she's only a year and a half younger than I am, but you'd see her walking down with a group of girls that are in their mid-20s and you couldn't pick her out and say, that's the middle-aged woman. All using the principles that we both adhere to in the L2-4UP. Those 2 leg exercises at the beginning and the end. If you watched my other video, you saw some examples of that, but we do squats, step-ups, deadlifts, rack squats, bodyweight squats, pulses. Every leg exercise you can think of, we pick 2 different ones at the beginning and end of each workout. And then I just did kind of a standard dumbbell bench press that I just demonstrated there, but we do many other variations. The next video that I'll do will be for back exercise. The one thing I did want to touch on here is I lost that 21 pounds in about 15 days, obviously through the workout and doing a lot of high exertion type exercises for a timed amount where you can't just quit, you got to wait for the beeper. That's kind of the mental thing with that. It keeps you going. You don't want to quit before that beeper, so you keep pressing through, even if you can only get a couple more reps. But the other big part of it is the nutrition. I'm going to do one video in my kitchen where I go over the nutrition that it took me to lose the 21 pounds in the 3 weeks. And it's extremely simple. The one thing I just want to throw out there, and I'm not a registered dietitian, but I am a long-time fitness person. I've done multiple different types of diet plans. Apologize for the sound. Multiple different diet plans. When I was lifting as high as a 242-pound weight class, when I was powerlifting as far down as the 198-pound class, also at a different time during my powerlifting career. The key is, and if you really want to get your body back in shape, I would start with taking bread and sugar out of your diet. I would try to start eating as many cruciferous vegetables as you can, such as cauliflower, broccoli, rapini, the darker green vegetables. Try to eat leaner cuts of meat as you can. Grass-fed beef is good. Uncured, no hormone bacon is good. Cheese in moderation, because they're high in calories, but the fats are good for you. The one thing I want to say about nutrition, and again, everybody has their own opinion on go totally vegan, go all plant-based, go carnivore, go this or that. There's one fact that Mother Nature keeps consistent, and I think it's the most important consistency about food as nature defines it. You get 9 calories for every gram of fat. You get 4 calories of energy for every gram of carbohydrate and every gram of protein. So somehow, some way, as the world evolved and plants and animals started to inherit the earth, for some reason, Mother Nature decided that you get the most caloric benefit from fat. Fat doesn't necessarily mean animal fat either. Coconut is high in fat. Nuts are high in fat. So even if you're someone who doesn't want to eat meat, or you're vegan or vegetarian, try to improve the healthy fats in your body. Olive oil, another good example. Get away from canola oil, soybean oil, all that kind of stuff, too processed. But if you don't do anything else, get sugar out of your diet in every form as best you can. Just as a personal note, my father's doing great at 86 years of age. I'm African American, black father, white mother, and my mother passed away recently. She was 88 when she passed. My dad's 86. He's still around. The most important thing that I learned from them was to eat food as it exists in nature, and I still do that to this day. My mother, before she passed, she had been a vegetarian for a long time. I should say vegan. She grew her own vegetables. Don't give up on that fact that fat, that 9 calories you get per gram of fat does not have to be animal fat. It can be fat from coconut, fat from avocado, fat from nuts. All that stuff is good for you, obviously within moderation. Don't exceed the caloric intake that your doctor recommends for your body type and so on and so forth. So not giving you 100% diet advice. Get that from your doctor, get that from a registered dietitian. I'm just telling you, I couldn't work out for 6 months. I gained a lot of weight. I've been an athlete most of my life, thankfully, so when I got the green light to go back and start working out again, all I did was engage the same principles that my wife and I thought of when we put together the format for the L2-4UP legs times 2 for upper body every day. Do them timed, do them to high intensity, do them as fast as you can, but safely. So fat is good for you. So are carbs and protein, obviously, but sugar in moderation. Stay away from processed food. Sorry for rambling on there a bit. L2-4UP, Mark your Marine. Very happy that you dialed in if you were able to. And Semper Fidelis, always faithful.